Hello and welcome back to another episode. Today I just want to catch you up really on what I've been up to over the past couple of months. It's been a time, a season I suppose, of tidying, sorting, finding a place for things, which in some cases are things that had never really had a place in this house. We've been here for the better part of 8, maybe 9 years now, I sort of forget. And in some cases, there's just been these little piles that just move around the house, little piles of books or papers, or in some cases things that you really want to have pride of place, just end up in a corner getting a bit dusty. And so that's what we've been doing. We've been figuring out how and where we want to put stuff. For example, my collection of Batmobiles, ranging from my favourite Batmobile, the Batmobile that features in the Nightfall saga in its box. It's one of those rare items that I keep in its box, all the way through to the animated series Batmobile and the Batman Forever Batmobile that I had as a kid. These had been, until very recently, just resting on a radiator cover. In fact, on the other side of this wall, just in the living room there, gathering dust in a sort of centipede of dusty black vehicle, really. There wasn't really much distinguishing them from each other, and it was little bit depressing. You could tell what it was meant to be, a little homage to the design of the Batmobile in various forms, ranging from comic to movie to Lego, for example, but it wasn't really working. I had, a couple of years ago now, I think even during COVID, picked up some shelves off Facebook Marketplace, my beloved Facebook Marketplace, to hang some of these Batmobiles, but that wasn't the full solution. And so, a few weeks ago now, we decided just to crack it. We cracked that egg, cracked that nut, and it actually fell into place when I came across a shelf, a sort of square metal shelving unit that had been from B&M, a sort of a discount retail store, and it was in a charity shop for £1, a single pound, and I thought, that could be the key, and it was. So I took a photo of the wall. We did a digital mock-up using scale models of the cars and the shelves, came up with a layout, and voila, that's how it ended up. In fact, I even moved, there used to be just behind me on the wall there, a backlit LED Batman symbol, bat symbol. I even moved that onto the wall, sort of capping off the whole display, and it looks better, feels better, and crucially, both me and Mrs. Soup actually can appreciate the designs much better. The designs of these vehicles, in particular the shape of the animated series Hot Rod or Speedster car, has these beautiful lines that you can properly see now because they're up on the wall, they're on display, and it just makes life feel better. First thing in the morning I come downstairs and I can see them, and I'm not going, because they're all sort of slightly sad and dusty in the corner. The same goes for a console table, so-called, that we got for just behind the sofa. Oh, in fact, we also replaced the sofa. I told you we've been up to a lot. We replaced the sofa and a chair with a sofa and a chaise longue from a charity warehouse. Actually, in this instance, it was much cheaper than it would have been to buy this furniture new. Apparently they had been designer furniture, and our old sofa was proper knackered. So we did put it on Facebook Marketplace. No one wanted it because it was proper knackered, so we ended up actually chopping it up. That was interesting. In order to get it into pieces, out into the back garden, I salvaged things like wooden slats and strapping from it for materials that we can use in future DIY projects. We put the metal frame out for the scrap man. Here's a song that I did as well a few days ago. We're in North Tyneside.
We put a little metal on the pavement for the scrap man, in case he comes around.
What?
Put a little metal on the pavement for the scrap man, in case he comes around. So we won't be buried under rubbish.
What are you talking about?
On the ground. That's why we put it there. Hey, it's gone.
Yeah, the scrap man. And it was gone. It was gone within half an hour. We didn't even hear them. They just took it away. And then the other bits of actually fairly low quality wood, furniture and doors, for example, aren't made of great material because they're skinned to look nice, aren't they? All that stuff went to the recycling centre. So we replaced that. We also recently replaced the coffee table. This really has been a busy few months. Again, Facebook Marketplace with a coffee table that actually has a raising element so that the top raises up. It can be used for jigsaws as a work surface. And crucially, inside the top, we can now store things, hide things away instead of piling stuff up on the coffee table. And now we're back to the console table. So we got this piece of furniture. We found this the perfect one in the British Heart Foundation store in Byker, and we realised this is it. There's no need to go and look for others. This is the thing we need, because what we wanted was a place that could have my shoes underneath it instead of my shoes just behind the sofa. A place where we could have some storage, so it's got 2 drawers. And crucially, it's got a shelf where I've moved all of my art books. And one day I'll have to do an updated art book collection video from the unit here, just behind the camera, onto the shelf in there behind the sofa. So now they're all much more visible, much more accessible, because I'm not piling bits of camera equipment in front of them, and much more casual. I can actually just pull out an art book and have a look of an evening and put it back. It's like a little big book, art book library space. And it's also got a beautiful surface which we deliberately keep clutter free, but we do use it though for sorting other things. As I said, we're still in the process of doing a lot of sorting. I won't show you the rest of the living room, dining room area because there's piles everywhere, but it's because we're working through this stuff. And it's been wonderful. It's genuinely been fantastic to rethink these spaces, or more to the point, actually get these spaces to the point that we kind of hoped they were going to be. We just never quite got them there, but we did have the right, for the most part, the right bits and bobs lying around. You know, I had bought those shelves for the Batmobiles. I had bought aspects of hardware to make different bits and bobs which have helped us. So, for example, I've made a wooden set of shelves out of the old coffee table just here in the office. I'll show you a photo of those. I won't show you what they look like now because, again, there's a great big pile of stuff there because we're in the middle of sorting stuff. I'm just imagining it sort of going, hello, and sort of creeping around the camera. You can see me. But the point is, it's been good. It's been good, and ironically, it's come out of a difficult time. Mrs. Soup has been off work with stress since April, the end of April. I think she's about to engage in a process that will see her on a staged return to work, but that's going to be another month basically at home. And she's needed it. She hit a hard low, partly due to bad management above her, partly due to the nature of the job. She works in the NHS. It's been a tough few years. A friend of ours has also been off work with stress as well, and that's impacted my work here at home because people keep on popping in, or people are in all day, just in the living room watching YouTube, for example. And I want to support their recovery, so I don't want to be like, will you shut up? Because I also actually have come to realise that I needed some time, a little bit of time to slow down a bit And actually, as Mrs. Super's observed, I am somewhat behind her on the journey, so I think I'm probably going to need a bit more time to come back from basically burnout. Really, I'm myself. I'm tired. I've been anxious. I've had a sort of generalised anxiety that's built up, mainly because of work stresses, basically. So it's come out of a stressful, difficult, frustrating, emotionally tough time, but lots of positives have turned up. And this is one of the reasons why I kept on saying on this channel, right, I really want to talk about, for example, my lightsaber. I really want to talk about the Manta Force ship, or Soundwave 40th anniversary edition that turned up a couple of months ago in the post. I have these things that I really want to do, but the idea of adding anything to my already full coffee cup or bowl, or however you want to visualize it, just felt like it was going to cause stuff to cascade out of that cup. Because I've been so busy, so tired, so in my head, and worried, of course, for other people in my life who have been tired and busy and stressed and in their heads. And it's one of those weird things where sometimes on this channel I make videos where I'll talk about, what do you need? You go think about what you need to sort a space, or to just to make a process easier. And I'll link those videos at the end of this video, for example. And you can think that it's that you can sort of cap it off. You can sort of go, right, well, that's that. I'll just put a lid on that. Perfect. I'll put that on the shelf. Job done. Perfect. But it's not the case, especially if in my case, if you have other stuff, long-standing stuff going on from childhood, etc. There's always going to be work that needs done on your mental health and on your well-being, and you need to be constantly checking in as to whether or not you need just to do a little bit more. And one of those things should be self-care and taking time, and then reflecting that back on yourself. I think that's what's happened here. That's what started to happen in sorting this stuff out. For example, we've also yesterday evening, while everyone else was watching football, because on my street I'm the only Welshman, they were watching England versus Slovakia, I think. And I only know this because I heard people shouting in this, out their windows, "Get in!" Presumably England scored a goal. Anyway, the point is that I've been adding a little cupboard door to, or added a little cupboard door to a storage unit in our camper van, and we went away for an overnight stay a little while ago, a few days ago, and I realised it would be really handy to be able to just get at that storage instead of having to lift up the cushion and go in from the top. Get at it from the side when you're outside the van. Maybe even have the washing up stuff in there. So I did that, and having a little bit of headspace frees your head up to think, how can I improve my living space? How can I make my life easier? How can I feel better, and therefore feel better? So that, the shed, for goodness sake, the workshop shed, that's been completely redone. I've moved shelves around, found better ways of storing things. It feels more open. It feels much more like, as opposed to a storage space with a workshop in it, it feels more like a workshop with some storage in the back corner, as opposed to right in your face when you go in. It actually just occurred to me while editing that making this storage space better was a direct result of having all of the extra wooden slats from having taken the sofa apart in the first place. So it's interesting how these things have a knock-on effect. You do one thing and that means something else needs to happen, or it motivates you to make something else happen. But that can also be a double-edged sword, can't it? Because it can sometimes freeze you in place because you realise that doing one thing requires you to do something else first.
Yeah, interesting.
All these little things are just sort of iterative, and they're kind of falling into place and slotting nicely. And what I find interesting about this, I suppose the overarching theme of this little catch-up video, is how much of this was already there. You see what I mean? How much of these things were already possible. The stuff was in place, the hardware or the tools or the materials or the inspiration or the intention was already there. It's just about having the mental space and time and self-belief to actually implement some of this stuff. And I suppose finally, a symptom of this moving in the right direction, as I say, I think I still have some work to do on this bout of stress that I've been in. It's the fact that I'm streaming again more regularly. I streamed last night. I'll be streaming again tomorrow night, because tonight I'm recording something using the Nintendo Switch. Say no more. And yeah, I'm just finding that I'm wanting and finding time to do things more readily. The more I consider self-care, which kind of feels counterintuitive, doesn't it? When you're in the midst of it, trudging through, you can be like, no, I must work harder, must do more, I have to get this, I can't, I just, whereas, going, actually, you know what, I can do that tomorrow. I'm going to today, I'm going to have a nice breakfast, I'm going to play a computer game, I'm going to catch up on emails, I'm going to go to that meeting, maybe even turn off, with a lovely coffee for everyone, and I'm going to chill out in the evening in the back garden. Means that then the next day you can go, yeah, I can do this, it's possible. You're not carrying it with you all the time and thinking that somehow you can punch and push and drive your way through the desperate need that everything in your body is saying, slow down, calm down, relax, rest. You need to stop, please. But I have a terrible habit of trying to push and punch through and think my way through things, when sometimes you need to kind of do the opposite, and then things happen. I'm even sitting here with the camera, for goodness sake, set up. I nearly sat and recorded at the desk using the streaming setup, which is fine. The microphone is excellent, so the sound quality is good, and the webcam is pretty good, so that it's a fine setup. But I thought, no, I'm gonna set up the camera, because I have. Well, actually, I'm 2 minutes late for something, but I had half an hour when I set up. And now I'm more or less done. So I fitted in this recording as well. Yeah, it's been interesting. And don't get me wrong, I'm not thinking now I can just rush and do everything at all times. But I feel more inclined to do things when I have time, having taken a bit of time for myself. Who knew, eh? Who knew? Right, okay, I need to go. I've got to go and do some work. So I'll catch you guys soon. Hopefully you're enjoying the streaming uploads, and if you can, please do, follow me on Twitch. Head on over there, and you'll probably catch me streaming in the near future. Until next time, do take care. Bye bye.